town of Red Hook, and all the people here from Red Hook and Rhinebeck, thank you so very much. We are in the middle of probably the most unusual campaign that I've experienced in my political career, and even before I had a political career. This year is one where there's been such, how can I put it? It's the strangest national debate that I've ever seen. I think I'm hoping that the next debate, our candidate doesn't have anything to say about her opponent. And I know that's beyond wishing to think the other guy's going to do the same thing. But the public, the American public, is clamoring to hear a good, positive message that they haven't heard. And my big fear about negative campaigning, and that's what we've seen literally on both sides, is that negative campaigning suppresses the vote. And if we suppress the vote in the Hudson Valley, we, the Democrats, lose the election. End of discussion. If we don't get people out to vote, we don't win the election. Now, I want Hillary Clinton to be the next president of the United States. And she's going to be the next president of the United States. But there's a lot of people in the Hudson Valley who are far to the left of Hillary Clinton. And if we want a Congress that's going to assist and enable her to govern the way this country has to be governed, we have to make sure we give her a Democratic Congress. I know it's a tough race. I think he's going to pull it out. Chuck Schumer looks like he's in good shape. It's possible he may not break 80% this year, but he's going to come close. And Chuck Schumer is likely to be the leader of the Senate. He's likely to be the majority leader of the Senate. He's going to be in an incredibly powerful position, an incredibly important position, but the Senate is good for a couple of things. We know what the Senate has done to President Obama over the past year in failing to appoint a Supreme Court judge or even hold hearings on a Supreme Court judge. But let's talk about the things that Congress has done. If there is a problem with the Affordable Care Act, it is at the steps of the United States Congress, the United States House of Representatives. Voted over 40 times to try to put the Affordable Care Act out of business and has done a number of things to sabotage it. Does the name Health Republic ring a bell? Well, the Congress promised $6 billion to health insurance co-ops across the country, and then they reneged on their promise, and as a result, Health Republic and 23 insurance companies just like them across the country, not-for-profit insurance companies, put in there to provide insurance for people who couldn't otherwise get it, out of business. Bad enough. Let's add insult to injury. They did put in $1.5 billion to the co-ops across the country, and one by one across the country, the Congress is sending them the bill, we want our money back. So what happens when Health Republic goes out altogether? Not only did they fail, not only did the health insurance of those people get disrupted, but now the bills that those insurance companies have won't be paid so that Congress can take the money back and break a promise. That's one little example. There are literally hundreds of examples. We need a Democratic Congress, and let me tell you where that's going to happen. It's going to happen right here. If we wake up on November 9th in the morning, and the congressperson from this district follows in the footsteps of John Hall, Kirsten Gillibrand, Scott Murphy, and Maurice Hitchie, it will be Zephyr Teachout. And if it's Zephyr Teachout, rest assured that the 30 or 40 or 50 seats that have to change or will change hands will have changed hands, and the Democrats will take the House of Representatives too. That will be good for us, not just because we will have elected a congressperson who shares our values more, but also because they will insist that Hillary implement the progressive policies that the people in these communities support. So we have to elect Zephyr Teachout, and the only way we're going to do that is if we increase the turnout. Congress is in the shape it's in, not by accident, folks. This did not happen overnight. This did not happen because the voters suddenly said, we don't like Democrats. It happened because over the past 30 years, Republicans in the Congress, in the House of Representatives, have been focusing on state legislatures all across the country to create gerrymandered districts that allow disproportionate representation, even in majority Democratic districts get sliced and diced, and then we end up electing unrepresentative Republicans all across the country. And by the way, it happened in New York. When the Senate and the Assembly could not agree to a set of congressional districts, it went to the United States District Court. And when it went to the United States District Court, guess what the judge did? He adopted the Senate Republican plan for reapportioning our congressional districts. That's why our districts are in play in one of the most, if not the most democratic state in the union. That's not right. It's a product of gerrymandering. This is repeated in state after state. Texas, even places where you didn't think it was going to be possible, it happened. New York. So we have to fix it. And we don't fix it just by electing Zephyr Teach out to Congress. We elect it by making sure we have a Democratic state legislature. And how do we get a Democratic state legislature? Let me tell you the tale of two elections. In a presidential year, I can get nearly twice as many votes as I get in a non-presidential year. I can get nearly twice as many votes. And when that happens, the same thing happens to my colleagues running on the Democratic ticket all up and down the valley. And we know who we elected to the New York State Senate in 2012 when we had a presidential election. We elected Terry Gibson to the New York State Senate. And you know what happened in 2014. In 2016, what happened is voter turnout went down. And when voter turnout went down, the people who came out to vote for Terry in 2014 did not do their job in 2016, and we lost Terry's representation in the New York State Senate. Let me tell you about the Hudson Valley and the New York State Senate. The county that I live in, Ulster County, has 4 New York State senators. The county that we're in right now has 2 New York State senators. Those 6 seats, 5 of them are in play. 5 of them are in play. If we win those